Hi, welcome to another episode of AI Spotlight Show. We are live at RSA Conference 2025 from Moscone Center, San Francisco, California. Hi, Philip.
How you
Welcome
doing?
to our episode of AI Spotlight Show. What do you do here at EG3?
D3, I am the director of sales engineering for the West the Western United States. So I run a team of sales engineers, basically doing the technical analysis side and walking customers through really kind of any technical difficulties, kind of driving value for the customer from a D3 side.
That is amazing. And you know, the reason why we're having this interview is to talk about the new innovation, which is AI. You know, in as much as AI has a lot of, will I say, opportunities to help organizations gain competitive advantage and also market dominance, and also help organizations to cut costs. But at the same time, AI is also described as a technology that comes with myriad of threats and risks. And that is where EG3 comes into place. Now, can you tell us the AI specific features that you guys have, the organization can leverage in terms of mitigating these risks, identifying these risks? As someone who have a background in security, we know when it comes to addressing security risks in the area of artificial intelligence, you can address it from different angles. You can look at it from a defensive approach, from an offensive approach, and also from an observability approach. Then please take the ride.
Yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to like mitigating threats, right? Efficiency gains is what everybody's trying to get to. So with D3, we play into the autonomous SOC. So right, trying to automate as much as a tier 3, tier 2 responsibility that happens within a security organization, trying to be as efficient as possible with doing that. So typically within like, let's say what were SOAR products and things of that nature, right? They were doing the orchestration and the automation that takes place within those threats. So still doing the automation task, but it was manual in building those workflows out. So how we're accepting AI is we're taking it to then alleviate that headache. So the SOAR lift was creating workflows. It doesn't matter if it was low code, no code, drag and drop. It still took time, and you needed somebody with a development background to do so. And then what we're doing with Morpheus is really creating workflows now that are only specific to your security stack. For instance, if you have a certain EDR in a certain SIM and then maybe a certain email tool, it will only use those to build these workflows. It's not generic. It's not shelfware that it just pulls from. It's all security context based, and it's an internal model. So we're not querying out to any of the open source AI tools or OpenAI, Anthropic, any of those. It stays within your tenant. So data is not left. It's also not training our model. So really it comes from, for the threat analysis for tier 1 and 2, put together a workflow that's security context based, take that information, put it up to as a security analyst so he can actually do his job as an analyst instead of taking time trying to find these pieces of information. It takes hours sometimes to put together a piece of information and then reports. So here we do it within seconds. So seconds to build a workflow, probably seconds to look at the overall summary that's given to you, make determination, and if you want, it can also take automated remediation. So that's what we're doing here at D3.
Thank you so much for giving us that overview. And now I would like us to go into details in terms of the product. I know yesterday in our conversation, you showed me how the workflow actually works in terms of helping organizations to build something like a playbook. Then I would like you to talk about the flow itself, that flow chart, and the idea of the playbook itself. And it will be also nice if you can talk about how other platforms can be integrated into your platform, like event monitoring technology, like Splunk, like Datadog. Yeah, if you can dive into that. And please, in your explanation, it will be good to also look at a use case of a particular industry so that our audience can have a better explanation of how the product itself works.
Yeah, absolutely. So like the industries that we work with, so mainly we work with security operations centers.
Okay.
Basically, right, that's where the efficiency gains are from an alerting standpoint.
Okay.
We're talking about ingesting different alert sources. So integrations really are just a connection. If there's an API, there's different, webhooks we can connect. Basically, that's how we're going to access any telemetry and data that is going to be fed into the system. From there, we take that information and just make a simple connection, right? We just want to be alerted. So anything as simple as fetch an event, right? Something simple from your sim. If there's an alert there, fetch the event, right? We'll have that, and that's where automation then takes place. So instead of siloing each individual endpoint security tool that you may have, let it all work together. Because if you have, and not all, we're vendor agnostic, right? So this is the only thing we do. The only thing we do is hyper automation, autonomous SOC, SOAR playbooks. That's our bread and butter. Security providers or service providers are a big part of our organization. That's a vertical that really leverages this kind of tool set very heavily. We have multi-tenancy built in. So again, you can segregate all the data for each individual customer, each individual vertical that they're looking for. So like in healthcare, right, you might have certain compliance standards that need to be met, and you can separate the data specifically just for their environment. And that's just kind of based on what we do. That's without AI. So, right, no help on that side. AI will also guide you from a compliance standpoint. So if you are under certain guidelines and recommendations, right, let's say there's a breach. Hopefully not, but right, things do happen. You usually have a time clock on based on certain customers, maybe on where they're located at in the country or in the world. And sometimes you have 72 hours to respond or send type of information. AI will also help with that. It'll say, hey, the next steps are this. And within 72 hours, and it starts a clock. 72 hours, we need to do these steps, these steps, these steps. So you don't have to read through pages and pages of guidance and NIST material to kind of understand what you need to do. So a long answer there for integrations, simple API connection. What AI helps do from, let's say, the phase 2 approach is, yep, we're ingesting, we have workflows, we have different service providers, different customers in multiple different verticals. Anyone can kind of use this product if they have a security team analyzed. And then from phase 2 approach with AI is, if something does happen, do we understand exactly the steps that need to take place so that we're under compliance and under law following the right instructions? So that's definitely something that we can provide for the customer.
Wow, that is amazing. Then, how does this AI solution, how relevant it is to the red teaming team?
Yeah, so for red team, this is definitely more on the blue team side of the house.
Okay,
But for red team, it could be very interesting because red teams are there to help blue team, right? It's almost more of a purple team kind of basis. So as red team is going in, this is there from a red team standpoint to go, okay, maybe something is missing, right? So maybe a workflow is created, but they're trying to be like, okay, how can I get it right? Red team is trying to get around anything that's happening. So this is mainly a blue team kind of security tool, but a red team would use it just to help the blue team. Like if there was something that happened that they missed, they could say, hey, maybe we need to input one little step inside a workflow. And then as the AI processes it, it understands this was inserted within our workflow. Maybe it needs to be dynamically updated in a different workflow for a different instance. So red teams can definitely help blue teams in this instance where it's like definitely a team environment. So primarily blue teams to try to stop the red team. So
yeah, because on some of our audience, some of them are members of the red team. It's important that I make that clear to them.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Okay, that really makes sense. Now, let's start looking at. I know yesterday I was asking you what is the business outcome of organization leveraging this AI technology. I'm looking at it from a revenue generation or cost effectiveness, and also looking at it from a demand of workforce. Do you want to talk about maybe a business outcome? Maybe one of your clients, you don't have to mention their name.
Yeah, sure. I'll keep names, but yeah. So we'll talk about a service provider. It's probably the easiest example that I can give you. So an MSSP or an MDR might come to us, right? Because they're looking to expand customer base, right? ROI. They're looking for a return on their investment, right? Because they're trying to add more customers. They're trying to be profitable as well. And so within our multi-tenancy, it works very well. But again, they're also trying to remove noise. So in one example, we had a MSSP that came to us. They were having roughly around 200,000 alerts every month. We were able to take that down to about 2,500. We can get into the details. It's like a two-phase approach where there's almost like two layers of processing that take place. And if it gets escalated in Really, the dismissal comes at a false positive rate. If we know what that is, we can easily dismiss those and then raise them up to an escalation. That was kind of like phase one with them.
Okay.
And they had two SOCs. They had one based in India, one based in the United States.
Okay.
And so working with them, being able to really dwindle down a lot of noise and really be efficient, right? And from the AI standpoint, be able to generate it so their analysts can start to work very efficiently. They kept the SOC in the United States. They didn't add any headcount. They removed their SOC in India that they didn't need to outsource to anymore, and they doubled their clientele base without ever having to add a headcount. So they were making, a significant ROI within the first 3 months of having the platform up and operational.
Thanks so much. Yeah, I think that's a very, will I say, good benefit
Absolutely.
that many organizations will make a decision why they should go for your AI products. Okay, my next question would be, um, what is ECG, right? ED3 rather. Yeah. In terms of, are you guys looking forward to the future in terms of adding more AI security features?
Yeah, so the future of D3 is, everyone is going more towards the AI portion.
Okay.
Where we're different is it will be internal. So we created our own model, been working on it for 2 years, right? And we set the guardrails on that model because hallucinations would happen, right?
Yeah.
You've probably done it with ChatGPT. I asked it the same thing 5 times and I got 5 different answers. So with being able to build it ourselves and set different guardrails around it, really a security context, it helps that we can also, having large MSSPs such as a 200,000 events per month client, whenever they were testing it and going through the beta phases, we could get down to a certain percentage, less than 2% of any kind of errors. So since we control that language model, we're able to then really fine tune it. If you're using another person's model, they're not going to give you the keys to the kingdom to make those changes. So in the future, it's really just fine tuning the model, adding compliance standards, and really looking from a red team perspective as well. As you mentioned earlier, that's going to be definitely phase two. How can we input, the basic language models that people can just, generate to then get answers a little bit quicker? Like if I was a red team, phase two really is in this program, just write a query and be like, hey, where are we maybe blind? Like where do we don't have visibility based on our current security stack? Is there anywhere we're blind, right? If you have an EDR, typical, no problem. You have email security, right? But if they're looking, they're like, I might be blind somewhere, especially like OT technology, right? There's not a lot of security vendors and they don't have a lot of visibility. Maybe they looking for now, they have answers for, maybe I will want to look for a network detection and response tool. Maybe I'll look at something with Zeek and Saracata to give me visibility. And maybe that helps them grow from a security context. So phase two is really how can we implement this, really fine tune the AI model. Again, efficiency. And like you said, there's plenty of opportunity for being a security analyst, but there's a lot of burnout. Everybody needs more analysts.
Yeah.
Here is where we can help, right? With that one company, we were able to keep the SOC team intact, and they were able to do more.
Yeah.
That's the efficiency game.
Yeah, but don't you think these autonomous AI solution at a point it will take away cybersecurity or threat intelligence analyst role?
I don't, at least at this stage. I'm not seeing it advance more. I think it just makes the analyst, because when you sign on as an analyst, you want to do what? Analyzing the threat. You want
Yeah,
to
but
triage.
now you can get it done quickly.
Yes, you can get it done quickly, but you still need to understand the context. I can only teach a model based on best security practices, what we do, and it can be autonomous. You can probably triage and take away a lot of the responsibility, but I think taking the human out of it would be a big mistake. Because if something takes an automatic, let's say, remediation effort, it shuts down something on the firewall, maybe it shuts down this laptop, for instance. If it automatically does that and it's a false positive, if you shut down production, you lose money. So I think at some point in time, having their ability to react that fast is more crucial than getting rid of them. Because I think at some point in time, it may get to the point where someone like me might not be needed within the security context. I might not need a tier one analyst because most of the jobs can be done from that standpoint. But still having, I think, a security analyst still overviewing, looking, making those decisions, understanding that the flow is all correct, that does look malicious. It's not benign, right? So if you go to, like an example, if you have a backup that gets sent to the cloud at Thursday at 6 a.m. every Thursday at 6 a.m., the AI might not understand that every Thursday at 6 a.m. this alert generates. Well, what if it shuts that down and all of a sudden you don't have a backup because it automatically shut down that connection because it thought you were exfilling data. So again, I would still need that as an analyst. I would understand, okay, and again, you could build a workflow around that to say, hey, anything on alert standpoint, right, that says Thursday 6 a.m. your iPhone is backing up to the cloud, it's taking the pictures, it's okay. There's no need to say this is exfil or some type of nefarious activity. AI could learn that, but again, having that kind of knowledge base, that proprietary knowledge, because a security analyst is going to know his systems in and out.
Yeah.
And I think at least at this point with AI, it hasn't completely removed the analyst at all, but it has made them a lot more efficient. Those efficiency gains right now are key. Maybe in the future, maybe I disappear,
Yeah.
right? Maybe they are autonomous, but
No.
at this point in time, I don't think removing them is.
Yeah.
I don't think we're quite there yet.
Yeah, definitely. There will definitely be an human in the loop.
Yeah.
Since
Absolutely.
that is an approach on its own, and there is a lot of, will I say, research done in that area regarding, they call it reinforcement learning from human feedback. But the only thing is, it will lead to maybe low workforce.
Yeah.
Where used to, just like what you said, where they need 50 analysts, now they might need 10, and that will create a lot of unemployment and stuff like that. Yeah, those are the fear. But I think in terms of AI taking jobs, I think the only solution to that, from my own perspective, sorry for digressing, but I think this is an important issue that we need to talk about. I think, it is rightly said that AI is going to create new opportunities. At a point now, organization will start hiring AI agent experts.
Yeah.
Now, which is a new role. Now, I think the question is, how soon can organizations start creating those new positions, start accepting and adopting those new positions, start filling them? Then, once they can do that, a lot of people will be able to backfill those positions, and we are not going to notice if a particular role is now obsolete. Do you understand? Then,
Yes.
how that transition is going to take place, I don't believe they've had a lot of conversation
Yeah.
around that area. But keeping our finger crossed, and that is why at AI Spotlight Show, we try to create an environment, a community where people can get up to date information on this and get themselves prepared, in terms of what is going to happen next in terms of AI, whether it is positive or it is negative.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Can you mention a few, those event monitoring technology that can be integrated into MoveForce AI? Do you want to mention a few of them?
Sure. Really, we work with all the top providers. So EDR standpoint, we have 600 integrations.
Okay.
So the majority, all the security vendors out here. What's specific about D3 is that we're a privately owned company. We're not going to be VC backed. So
Okay.
we can work with. We're vendor agnostic at that standpoint,
Okay.
right? So we can work with any company. If we don't have the integration, we'll build it. We're a very heavy development side of the company.
Okay.
So if the integration isn't there, we'll build it. But from the standpoint, we'll have CrowdStrike, SentinelOne, Microsoft Defender. From a SIM standpoint, Elastic, Datadog. We'll have Splunk, QRadar. We'll have, like I said, the main players in the security space. If you have O365, your Active Directory, if you have the threat intelligence feeds, we have, like I said, there's 600 and they're very numerous. Really, we play well with every single security vendor. Again, the only thing we do, this is our only product, vendor agnostic, so we play well with absolutely everybody out there. If you're a Palo Alto shop, we have Palo Alto firewall integrations. If you're a Checkpoint shop, we have Checkpoint integrations. If you're a Fortinet shop, we play well with everyone. So again, there's not going to be any cross confusion. So if you're definitely a security team that gets best of breed and they're not under one umbrella, we can work with anything. So yeah, those are some of the top integrations and some of the Microsoft Sentinels, the SIMs, the Splunks, the Ciscos of the world, and we work with them all.
That is amazing. Now let's look at, because it is not possible for you to talk about mitigating AI risks,
Yep.
addressing AI security issues without talking about government policy and regulation.
Absolutely.
And I believe, based on my own perspective, I believe that government regulations have, will I say, a positive impact in terms of organization sourcing for different AI security solutions. Now, based on what today, do you think that government regulation have a greater influence in the way organizations are sourcing for different AI security solutions? How is the market? What's the impact of government regulation on the today's market on AI security? I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's a beautiful question because
Okay.
it's really the Wild West. It is
Okay.
because we don't know. So,
Okay.
right, so anything that's happening in Washington will 100% affect the AI market. Anything from, we host our internal model, okay, what cloud platform, where the data is being stored.
Mm.
Again, if we're reaching out to something, there will be policy or guidelines on those, right? How much data is leaving, what data is leaving.
Mm.
Eventually, you probably will see a lot of policy and, from what I've seen, at least, right, government policy obviously will affect the way we need to do business.
Okay.
We're a Canadian-based company, so
Okay.
right now it's anything between us and the United States becomes messy. We'll be caught in the crossfire like anybody else, and that's
Okay.
totally fine. Right now, we're a software-based company, so we're not affected by any of the current ongoing policies that
Okay.
take place. But AI specific, you will. I mean, I wouldn't imagine them not putting some type of policy in place again, because each country is going to try to protect their own intellectual property,
Yeah, definitely.
and they have every right to do so. How far it goes and how they restrict each company, to be seen. But you're 100% right. The future definitely is.
Yeah.
At some point in time, there will be a government hand,
Yeah.
and how educated will it be on addressing AI?
Hmm.
To be seen. But that is a big question mark in most security companies and definitely current customers, right? As AI, some of them, especially in the financial districts,
Hmm.
they can't use AI at all. Their
Yeah.
policy is 100%. They have to look for a platform that will not have AI because they cannot use it, or will have a feature where the AI is not used.
Yeah.
So they've already created a self policy. But yes, I believe the government policy will soon, I would say within the year or two, once maybe they get a handle on what's happening, will 100% probably come down. I think you nailed it. I completely agree with you on your assessment. It will be messy, and it's
Yeah.
definitely coming. I agree.
Yep, I agree with you on that. Do you guys have any partnership with any of these maybe security will I say cyber security educational agency like ISACA and the rest, Cloud Alliance, Security Cloud Alliance? Do you guys partner with them in terms of probably contributing to AI cybersecurity education, or partnering with them in terms of ensuring that you guys are incorporating, some of the framework? Because these agency that I'm talking about, they're actually the educational aspect when it comes, and they come up with different framework like COBO framework, all of those kind of framework. Yeah, NIST, National Institute of Standard and Technology, International Standard Organization. Then can you talk about how you guys partner with them in terms of maybe building your AI products? Yeah.
Yeah, so when it comes to building partnerships, we are open to anyone that wants to partner at any point, especially from an education standpoint.
Okay.
Right now, we'll educate every single customer. Again, you want to know what AI is doing. You just can't accept that it's doing something and kind
Yeah.
of just take it back. And within our product, as it kind of scrolls through, it's going to give you a description of everything it's doing and why it's doing it. So you'll be contextually aware, which I
Okay.
think is a very big portion from an AI standpoint. Partnering with like NIST, like our phase two. If you're under a certain compliance, that's where the AI also responds to that documentation to make sure we are operating under a
Okay.
certain framework. And the education will always be a part of educating our customers because, yeah, as things change, we open up to our customers and say, this is exactly what's going on. Transparency, especially around AI,
Yeah.
will be very key and crucial.
That's amazing. Do you guys have learning resources where members of the public can have access to those learning resources?
Yeah, absolutely. So if they go to d3security.com,
Okay.
we have the white papers, we have everything that you need to select, different type of documents, anything that you need to find from SOC 2 compliance, things that you are looking for, 100% open and available online on our platform.
Okay, that
Yes,
is
sir.
amazing. And our last question: what would be your three takeaway? Based on our discussion today for our audience, what would be your three takeaway?
My three-part takeaway.
Your three takeaway, like from the discussion. What info? Will I say? What would be the three major bullet points you want our audience to go with based on our discussion in terms of AI security, landscape, and also innovation as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So the three bullet points I would always take away: let AI be your efficiency driver.
Okay.
Efficiency to me is key in the security operations center. I came from a security operations center background, managing, training, being an analyst. So for me, driving efficiency is the most important thing, right? Especially if you have customers. They're trying to protect their data. So what I need to, bullet point number one is let the AI drive the efficiency. It can do a lot of the hard work that you're already doing, and it can provide that information to you in a much clearer format. So use it to its fullest advantage, always. It's a tool to be used, continue to use it. I think number two is be prepared for compliance changes.
Yeah.
Don't get into the rhythm or habit that this is the way it's going to be and it might not change.
Yeah.
Understand and have your processes down. Pretty key. I think that's pretty important as things change. Like you talked about government policy, where are you located? And then again, like I said, NIST, different education systems. I would think number three is educational. You provide a platform in which people can get up to date information on the latest tech that's coming out. So I think three would be stay up on the education side of the house. There's a lot of misnomers, right? Sometimes marketing can get carried away with different, terms, and it might not be clear in understanding. So I think the other thing is just get a simple education. Hey, this is AI. Ask questions. Like I said, reach out to people. There are plenty of different security vendors where you can go on their website and they have an AI chat bot and you can actually ask it a question. So there's plenty of things. I think education is always important. It's an ever-changing world in the security world. I'll never know it all. So I think reaching out to peers or going into some type of AI product and asking it some questions on what's the latest development. Is there any changes? Because no one's going to keep up with all the news that's out there. So yeah, sometimes I think being educational, is going to be the third really key bullet point.
Yep, great. And that brings us to the end of our interview today. Thanks for joining us on
Thank you,
this
Teresa.
episode of AI Spotlight Show. This is a wonderful interview. We've learned a lot about ED3 and most especially the Morphos AI features. And for those of you who are aspiring to pursue a career in AI cybersecurity, or you are in the cybersecurity space and you want to have an in-depth knowledge of what aspect of AI cybersecurity you can focus on, I would suggest you go to their website and get to know more about the product, and also listen to this interview so that you can understand what kind of solution that they offer. Then now what we're trying to do indirectly is when we interview different AI security companies or cybersecurity organizations that offer different AI security solutions, with that knowledge, you can be able to craft a niche and a career path for yourself. Then that idea that I might lose my job to AI, just as we know, AI will take some job, but at the same time, AI will also create some new opportunities. Even though that a lot of organizations are kind of slow in terms of creating those new roles, but eventually it's going to happen. Then thank you so much for joining this episode of AI Spotlight Show. Talk to you soon and stay tuned to our next interview. My name still remains Henry Onowale, your AI Spotlight Show host.